Okay, gentlemen, so we're starting off with trying to write the equation for 12x plus 5y equal 2 in the form y equal mx plus b. At any time, if you want to make sure that you know what you're doing, you can pause the video, try on your own, and then obviously replay and see how you did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 5y here, and I'm going to send the 12x over, switch teams, change jerseys, becomes negative 12x plus 2 because the positive 2 was already there. Then I have to divide every term on both sides of the equation by 5. And I get negative 12 over 5x plus 2/5. Okay. The learning goal for today is actually kind of hiding at the bottom. It's really the checklist. At the end of this, can you calculate a midpoint? Can you find the equation of the median from a vertex? I can determine the equation of a right bisector. So those are our learning goals. And we'll break down the terminology as we encounter these questions. So the first part here is to plot the points A, -3, 4. So -3 and 4, we put a dot there, label it A. B is -7, 10. I might have got ahead of myself in the labeling here. Right? B is hiding up there. And plot the points, determine the coordinates of the midpoint of the line segment AB. So I don't have my iPad, but that's probably the best line I'm going to do. You can obviously use a ruler when you're doing that. So we want to find the coordinates of the midpoint. The midpoint formula is a new one you're going to learn today. And slope, you'll recall, was a lowercase m, but for midpoint, we're going to use an uppercase m. So that's really important. And in this case, we're finding the midpoint of line segment AB. So I'll put down below AB, but I'm using uppercase letters because endpoints or vertices, and we'll talk more about this when we do trigonometry at the end of the year, we give them the uppercase version of the letter. So it's the midpoint of line segment AB is equal to, now if you wanted to find the middle of something, you can also call that the average, right? Add together, divide by 2. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add x coordinate, the first x coordinate plus the second x coordinate, and we're going to find the average of those two. That would give us the middle. And the same thing for the y, y1 plus y2, divide by 2, and that basically creates a new coordinate. If we want to fill in the blanks here, the x value for the first coordinate, second coordinate are there, and the y values are there, obviously. So x1 plus x2, please continue writing the brackets as you solve. So x1 is -3, x2 is, so it's plus -7 divided by 2, and the second part is 4 plus 10 divided by 2. And we end up with -3 plus -7 is -10. A -10 divided by 2 is -5. And 4 plus 10 is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So if we go ahead and look at, let's call this point C, the next letter in the alphabet. And if we go to -5, 7, that's right there, which is our midpoint C. Okay. Determine the coordinates of the midpoint. C is equal to -5/7. It's literally plug and play into that formula. As long as you can remember that the average of the two coordinates divided by 2, right? So by adding them together, dividing by 2, you then have found the midpoint. This next part is going to be a little bit more challenging, actually significantly more challenging. Now it's clearly spelled the word vertices wrong there. Sorry about that. So there we go. Plot the vertices of a triangle ABC. I think what I meant to say was the vertices of ABC are A, B, and C, and then you plot them. So I messed up the language there. Again, apologies. But nevertheless, A4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is right there. B, -6, 2. I'll do this in blue ink. 4, 4, -6, 2, and 2, 0. Okay, and then we're going to create a triangle. All right, that's good enough for now. All right, and it says plot the vertices, done. A asks us to find the equation in slope y-intercept form, so y equal mx plus b, because you can identify the slope and the y-intercept in that form, for the median from vertex A. We've got to break down that language of median. A median is basically a line segment that goes from a vertex to the midpoint of opposite side. So in this case, we're trying to find out if I were to do a chicken scratch sketch of this, we're finding the median from vertex A. A was 4, 4, if I'm not mistaken, 4, 4. So that's A, B, and C. And then from vertex A, if I were doing a chicken scratch sketch of it, that's pretty much it. A median goes from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. And the median, if you might remember, I think you covered this probably in grade 8, maybe even a bit in grade 9, where you know that a median bisects the area of that triangle. So any median, I can go from vertex C and go to the middle of the opposite side. That would bisect the area, or cut the area in half. And then that would also be from vertex B, a median from vertex B. All right, so the median goes from a vertex to the midpoint of the opposite side. I'm going to erase that for now, just because I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this space here. Okay. And let's see if I can try and answer question A here. All right. So remember, the median goes from vertex A to the midpoint of line BC. So the first thing I need to find is the midpoint, because it wants the equation of that line. To find the equation, all I know is one coordinate. I don't know the slope. Okay. I don't know its y-intercept. So I'm going to have to find both coordinates. I already have one of them. I need to find the midpoint of BC. So to properly communicate, midpoint BC. If you want to pause here and see if you could do it on your own, that'd be great. Start with the formula. Divide by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, and now sub in. So I'm looking for B and C. X is -6 plus 2 over 2, and that's 2 plus nothing, or 2. That equals a 1. And that equals -6 plus 2 is -4 divided by 2. So it's -2, 1. So we definitely, and we're going to call that D, the next letter in the alphabet. So I'll put -2, 1. I'll call that D. And now I know that's the equation. We're looking for the equation of AD. How do I find that? You might remember, so when we use subtitles here, find, I'll use short form. You can do the same thing. Equation, I'm just going to do like that. EQ with almost like an apostrophe in there. EQ is our equation of AD. It's line AD, so we'll put a line on top of it. Okay. Now, how do you find the equation of a line when you're given two coordinates? We use the slope formula. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So the slope of that, AD, remember our coordinate A here and D here, y2 minus y1 will be 1 minus 4 over -2 minus 4. That's -3 over -6, so it's +1/2. Okay. Now that you've given that, we know so far y equal 1/2 plus b. I should write solve for b here. Solve for b. So we know y equals 1/2 x plus b. And remember, to find the y-intercept, you just need to know one coordinate that will allow you to find the y-intercept, right? Because it puts you on a specific trajectory. There's an infinite number of lines that have a slope of 1/2, but only one of them is going to pass through the point 4, 4, or through the point -2, 1. In this case, we have both. It passes through 4, 4 and -2, 1. 4 seems like a really easy one to sub in. So I'm going to sub in 4, 4. Actually, I prefer if you communicate that. So we're going to say sub in 4, 4. And you will write 4 here equal 1/2 times 4 plus b. And then you get 4 equals 2 plus b. Bring the 2 over, you get 2 equal b. Okay, so therefore, y is equal to 1/2 x plus 2. That's your equation. This is done a little bit neater, actually a lot neater, on EDSB. If you look in our classroom library in the folder for completed handouts. It says find the equation of slope in slope y-intercept form for the equation of the right bisector of side AB. So the right bisector. So I'm going to erase this part here because I can for now. And I want to find the right bisector of AB. So again, right bisector, two terms to break down, okay? The right means 90 degrees or perpendicular, okay? And a bisector means, I'll do this in red. A bisector means cut into two equal parts. I should point out one thing. When you were labeling the median in the last part, when you're labeling the median, it's not good enough just to call that D. How do I know that's a median? How do I know that that line is median? By doing this little hash mark here. Those two hash marks let us know that BD and DC are equal in length. That proves, at least visually, when you're looking at a diagram, that D is actually a midpoint. If we don't put the hash marks, you're not certain by looking at the diagram that that is the case, okay? So now we're looking for the right bisector of AB. If I were going to chicken scratch that, I'm looking for ballpark the middle, and I'm looking for a right bisector. So a line that passes through it at a 90-degree angle. That's the right bisector of AB, and that would be equal to that. So there we go. And let's call that E for now. That point there would be E. Okay. So we're looking for the equation of this red line that passes through the middle of AB, but also is perpendicular to AB. So we have a little bit of work to do here. You can pause here and try on your own if you like. First thing I'm going to do is find the midpoint of line AB. Okay. So back to this formula, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2 equal, and AB, I don't remember them off by heart. AB was 4, 4 and negative 6, 2. So sometimes I like to park them over here, 4, 4, negative 6, 2, and that one was A, that one was B. So y2 minus x1 plus x2 is really 4 plus negative 6. And the next one is 4 plus 2 divided by 2. That's negative 2 divided by negative 2, which is, divided by positive 2, which is negative 1. And this is 3. So negative 1, 3. And we're going to call it E, we said. I'll use purple for this one, E. Okay, so now we found the midpoint. I'm going to go here and erase my chicken scratch because that was just a guesstimate. Now we want to do it for real. Okay, and we said that it was negative 1, 3. Just double check. Yep, negative 1, 3 is perfect. I'm just going to make it purple. So now I'm looking for the equation of that line that runs perpendicular to AB, cuts those two parts equally in half. In this case, we only have one coordinate that we're certain that that purple line runs through. The only point we know that it runs through is that point E, negative 1, 3. That's not enough information to find the equation of a line, right? To find the equation in y equals mx plus b format, right now all I have is a coordinate. I don't know the slope yet. How do I find the slope? Well, the first thing would be to find the slope of line AB. Whatever the slope of line AB is, the purple line is perpendicular. So we're going to find the slope of AB, okay? And here we go. So the slope of line AB is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is equal to AB. And remember, my coordinates are written right there, so I can still refer to them. Y2 minus y1 is going to be 2 minus 4 and negative 6 minus 4, which is going to equal negative 2 over negative 10, which is going to be 1/5. So the slope is 1/5. The perpendicular slope is negative 5. That's the coordinate we're looking for, right? If the slope of the line AB is 1/5, the perpendicular slope is the negative reciprocal. So that's what we want. So now we know, right, y equal negative 5x plus b. And to solve for b, we're going to sub in the only coordinate we know, which is E, negative 1, 3. Sub in 3 for y, negative 1 in for x, plus b, and we get 3 equal 5 plus b. Bring the 5 over, switch teams, change jerseys, and there we go. So our final equation is y equal negative 5x minus 2. Okay, please look at Edsby, pinned to our page. You'll find the homework there. And I hope that makes sense, guys. Talk soon.